Watch este Weird Vendetta. Welcome to our show. Considering well, guys are having a wonderful day on this 27th now, 7th October 2025. Hope you guys are doing well. It's gonna be a great day today. I'm excited. I am thrilled with what's gonna happen. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, what are we doing right now? Is we're gonna be checking out a new show, which is The Monster of Ed Gibbs. So I'm kind of worried about it because this is very, very disturbing. And ultimately speaking, I don't think that I did a review of a show that is more disturbing. So this is some new territory for us. After 4 years, can you believe that shit? Um, Also, another great thing. Kong, the New Empire. We are at season what? We're at episode. Whoa, we got 4 episodes left. We got 4 episodes done. So we know what? Since the beginning, you know what? I have an idea. So this is brand new. This is brand new. We'll do a little thing together, which is kind of cool. Um, Ed Gibb. Ed Gibb trailer. Ed trailer. Wow, that's not what I wrote, but okay. Ed Gibb. Is that it? Do you guys want to do that? Would that be a good idea? Because oh my God, Ed Gein. Whoopsies. I didn't know it was Gein. I thought it was Gibb. Gein. Now I will have to press pause, and what I'll do, right, is I'll check if there's nudity because there's no nudity in the show. Safe to go. So without further ado, let's get it. I think that's a good idea.
I'd like to show you something worse.
Albert Hitchcock. It's so quick I can't do like a review, but oh, this are part time. You can check it out. Can you believe this is the guy that plays Son of Anarchy? There you go. If only this was the scariest thing that we saw, which isn't. Wearing his face, mom. Kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. But hey, let's freaking go. Let's freaking go. You guys ready? So, before like I said, I did a first impression of the show. So you guys know that I didn't know anything about Ed Gein myself. I never even heard of it. But so far, it's actually pretty good. Oh. So we have the first episode, which is Mother. Ed Gein, I know so little about it that is kind of insane. Like, for example, Dahmer, I knew some of it. John Wayne Gacy, I knew nothing of it. However, John Wayne Gacy, when I was watching it, I wasn't even making content, so it didn't really matter. And on a farm in Wisconsin, the twisted link between Ed Gein, solitary man, and his authoritarian mom make him go insane. So pretty simple. I'm gonna go in. I watched this yesterday. What I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to do the 3 episodes together. And if I get to do 3 episodes together, that'd be cool. If I don't get to do it, it's okay. If I don't get to do it, it's okay. So the very first scene is very troubling, but this is kind of cool because you're seeing the farm and you're seeing the house. So the very first scene is basically Ed Gein. I don't know how much I should talk about this because there are 3 hours that I have to recap, so it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a shit ton. No, from the first scene. Yeah, just kind of scary. Just kind of creepy. Most of the thing here is not scary. It's creepy. So Ed is gonna be milking a cow. Gonna be a bit odd with it. So oh my god, is milking a cow weird? No. Is petting a cow weird? No. Is putting your hand in the milk freshly milk? No. But it's a horror story. It's a strange story. You're supposed to believe it's gonna be weird. So everything that happened in your mind will be weird because you came for that. There's already in the show. There's already like a really good. There's already a really good what should we call it? What should we call it? It's kind of complex. There's already a really good critic over what we're watching, right? So I'm not gonna say it too much right now, but it's kind of cool. So we go in. This is insane. So we got Ed, who is, I'm gonna call him Ed by respect, who is spying on two girls. Now, ultimately speaking, this is kind of really cool because, and I don't know much. What I'm gonna do possibly is I'm gonna watch the documentary and then I'll check out. I want to learn more about it. If I want to learn more, I'll do it. Otherwise, no. But you're seeing two girls now. You think that he's a creep again because your perception is that it's gonna be a scary movie. But then one of the girl he's in love with, which is Adeline. Now in the show, they don't mention Adeline's age. She looks very young compared to him. But at the same time, it's possibly the actor. But the guy that played a son of Arctic versus a young woman. He's talking about bullet bra. And this is also super insane because they're talking about bullet bra. So as a perv, what you would do is you would see women in bikinis and like, holy shit, they're hot. Right? But him, when he sees the underwear, he thinks about wearing them. So again, it's something that's still relating to him differently. What is super cool about this show is basically what they're doing is how can I say this? What they're doing is I think I'm gonna need some energy to do that. It's complex because at the same time I want to do it nicely, but it's so somber. It's so something so weird, so disgusting, right? So the best thing about the documentary is there's literal psychologists that what should we call it? They do an analysis on them. So Ed Gein was during the Second World War, and it's during the Second World War there was not a lot of killers, right? And even then, so Ed Gein, what they're saying is he inspired such as and it's kind of crazy. So in this show, why is Ed Gein so important? Okay, so Ed Gein is simply the father of serial killer, which is kind of true, kind of not true, right? So Ed Gein was a monster, and when it's so complex because, oh my god. So when you see this show, right, you start in the beginning, right? And then from the show, you're gonna see Hitchcock, which is years and years and years and years later, right? At the end of the show, we see what Ed did, the number of people he killed, right? And because you see the number of people he killed, you realize like, hey, well, this guy was fucking insane, right? So then Albert Hitchcock, and this is really cool because this is explored in the second episode or third, I don't remember, but he's giving people gory, he's giving people horror. And there's a new thing that came out, which is sexual horror, which is still going on today, which is like NCIS and show like murder, trauma, whatever it's called, right? And it's super popular. So Ed Gein wasn't the forefather of serial killer, right? However, he was one of the crazier killer out there, and because he was one of the craziest killer out there, then when they did a movie about a serial killer, they chose him. Right now, ultimately speaking, this is where it gets complex. This is where it gets very, very, very complex. So a person like Jeffrey Dahmer, because Jeffrey Dahmer was real, right? So they're saying that the forefather of the Chainsaw Massacre, right? In the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there is a killer called Leatherface who was wearing the face of people. Ed Gein did that. He did it. So was there something of an inspiration there? Possibly. Possibly, right? Possibly. And the reality is, it might be, but I don't know. In a case like Jeffrey Dahmer was a real person. Jeffrey Dahmer was fucking insane. Okay, so would you say that Ed Gein was a what should we call it? He was a inspiration for Jeffrey Dahmer? No. However, it's complex because even in this show, they're showing this Nazi. I don't remember what she is, but she's the bitch of Auschwitz, and she's torturing and skinning alive her victim. So Ed Gein kind of gets the idea to skin the victim because of her. Now, ultimately speaking, did Jeffrey Dahmer see Ed Gein do the thing that he did and said, "Hey, I'm gonna become a killer"? No. He possibly saw the way that Ed Gein killed. Because he saw the way that Ed Gein killed. It was like, okay, well, if I do that, it's gonna be pretty freaking special. Are we good for the storage? We're not horrible. We're not good though. Okay. Give me a sec. Still in pain. Storage is good, don't get me wrong. If the battery's gonna be a problem, because I tend to talk a lot and I've got 3 hours to redo. So, which is not bad. I'm down for it. I'm probably gonna be finishing the show today or tomorrow, just in case we need it. Okay. So there you go. we're at 3 minutes. So there you go. Ed Gein get cuts, and they're following him. They discover it's him. Now here's the craziest thing. Ed Gein comes back home and he wears the underwear of his mom and he starts masturbating. So then again, this is so special because do masturbation is special. I guess you can clip this. He's choking himself first of all. And he's wearing underwear. Now you do whatever you want. I don't king shame, but the knowledge on sexuality. Okay, so for example, right? This is also very important. This is in the 1940s, right? So, for example, right, I see a porn of, I don't know, a teacher. No, you know what? We'll go with the classic cops and criminal, right? I see a porn where there's a cop, a male cop that find a female criminals, and she said, "Hey, if you look away, I'll give you favors." So then I find this titillating. What I do is I want to reproduce this role play. So I get a disguise, I get a costume, if you will, might find myself a girlfriend first. That would be nice, by the way. And then we do it, right? Because I saw something. But with Ed Gein, and this is what's different, is there's no material to research. This is coming from his mind. So the idea of wearing female underwear isn't something that he saw, is something that he did. Now, ultimately speaking, there is something to be said about that. So ultimately speaking, what is possibly there is he has those dark thoughts before. He saw the bitch of Auschwitz. And he's like, hey, I want to do it too. I want to become her. And this is possibly why he wants to do it, but I don't know. No, because this is before he knows about that. So then he used this, and his mom caught him. And his mom, she is such a bitch. So she kept him. She make him stand naked in front of her, and she recite the Bible to him and how he is a sinner. And his mom is possibly the reason why he's like that. So, for example, it's like you must never touch a girl. You never have sex with a girl. You must Okay, this is a problem. Give me a sec. This is a huge problem. Ugh, this is a huge problem. This is a huge problem. Okay. This is a huge problem. So this one is 1 terabyte of storage, and it's full. It's filled to the brim. And the problem is, I don't know where I stopped, which is not true because I know exactly where I stopped. There's no way. I fell upon it right away. If this is 6:31, we're good. Because I upload them every single night.
So French fries. Mac and cheese. I'm a sucker for a good mac and cheese.
Yeah, mac and cheese. I'm a sucker for good mac and cheese. So this was 4:51. Okay. So now what you do is you go under YouTube Studio. Ashtam gram piki 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 gram. Ashtam gram piki piki kole gram. So this word, the last one we did was 309. 309. However, 453. 453. Keep that in mind, ink. So if we can get that one, we're good. 453, please. Good. See, that I uploaded them yesterday, so I remember. I remember from yesterday. So this is 5. So if I did this one, and I did noise. If I do those two, we're good for the day. Now I'll have to do them after, because this won't last me more than a day. But ultimately speaking, it depends on how much I film tomorrow. So you see, these two are 25 gigs of data. Because the 25 gigs of data, I get to upload as much as I want to. If you want me to, you want me to. So make a move, cause I ain't got all. You know what, while doing this, we'll sing. My mom cooked meatloaf even though I don't eat meat. I love you so much, it burned my heart to beat. It's on TV. Because we did a little bit of them. Because usually what I do, which is insane, I understand. Usually what I do is I delete everything. Even though I don't eat meat, so make a move, cause I ain't got all night. Usually what I'll do is I'll upload everything and then I'll have to delete everything. However, tonight we are not lucky. Tonight's mid-video, and I started the video 60 minutes ago, but the storage on this card is 1 terabyte, and I don't feel like 17 gigs out of 1,000 is a lot. You know, how much hours do I have? I have a ton of hours. Okay, let's continue because we're good here. I think I fucked it up again. I think it broke the file, but I'm not sure. We'll check it after because this is gonna take some time. We've been filming for 2 hours and 14, which means that if I was to guess, it would possibly be 13, 14 gigs at 7.20p. 720p's will take me about 12 minutes to do, and I don't want to do it. So fuck you. It didn't break. Okay, cool. So yeah, his mom is possibly the reason why he went so crazy, right? So his mom, she's just punishing him. She tells him, like, you must never have a kid. All men are filth. You're disgusting. So the reality is, this episode we're gonna meet the brother of Ed Gibb, which is a completely normal guy, and he will tell her, "Hey, mom's insane. Like, you gotta get out of here. You don't realize." And his mom, she's a bitch. She's mean, bro. She's really mean. So what she does is she makes fun of him. She insults him. She degraded him all the time. And Ed, they're saying that he had schizophrenia, but I believe it's more. So this is super cool. So Ed is told to be a complete creep, right? So he's talking to these girls, and they find it weird, and he just doesn't know how to talk to women, right? Because again, his relationship with his mom is disgusting, right? So now the guy, and this is kind of cool because the milkman, the guy who's in charge of the milk bar, because they have like milkshake and shit like that, right? He goes in and said, "Hey, to head, hey, don't do that." Now this is also important because it could be perceived as him knowing that, but what I think happened here, because it's creepy, right? It's like, don't do that, and he possibly means that's not how you're gonna get the girls, right? And Head is like, well, I didn't mean nothing by it. Listen to how he said it too. His voice. Shout out to the actor. Very simple-minded. Don't mean nothing by it. Yeah. So then, surprise, motherfucker! Guess who's there? Adeline, which is the girl he was spying on. And this is insane. This is really, really, really interesting scene because he's reading the journal and he's basically seeing camps of people being killed, and it's literally showing pictures of mountains of body, and it's nuts because you're basically like, holy shit, I can't believe they would publish that, right? So Ed is seeing this, and then he meets Adeline, and Adeline say, hey, I got a friend who has information that's private to him, and he shows pictures. So he shows picture of people that are dead, and it's a really horrible picture. And then, even then, what she gives them is a secret magazine. And a secret magazine is basically the bitch of Auschwitz. So she's the one that's flailed the victim. She is she is bad, bro. She kills them. She skinned them alive. I think that's enough, right? She skinned them alive. And this will give him the ID to skin them alive. Now, if he didn't see her, would he have done it? It's hard to say. It's hard to say. So he's basically seeing this, right? And the craziest thing is, it's hard to tell if he's interested by the story because he's interested because he smiles. But Ed is a simple guy, so you don't know if he smiles because he's dumb or he smiles because he's interested, right? So we got the monster, the Ed Gein story. So there you go. We have his brother, and his brother is actually super cool.
Right here. You could get trapped in it too. Right?
There you go. So his brother is telling him like, hey, and this is beautiful. He's telling him, hey, I met this girl, right? And this girl has already been married. So this is what's insane, right? So why is the brother so important, and why do I like the brother so much? Well, first of all, because he's normal compared to Ed, so that means that there's this classical thing of nature versus nurture. So both of these kids were raised in the same house by the same mom. So if it was nurture, it would be the same person, right? Now Ed does have a sickness, which is schizophrenia. I think there's something else though. I don't know. So yeah, so he's like, hey, I met this girl, and it's like, you cannot marry her. She's been married before, and usually because back then they're very religious, very religious. But then because his mom was such a nightmare, his perception of what is good in the world is different because he's been through shit, right? So it's like, hey, I'm leaving you. And at the same time, you still feel like the bird care. It's like, you've always been the peculiar kind, but you're not a bad person. You are not a bad person. Even then, and the second episode is going to kill somebody, and then the police says, hey, have you seen somebody? And they said, oh, so it's the car of Ed Gein, but he wouldn't hurt a fly. So he's kind of looked properly by people around town. So his brother is like, you gotta get out of here, right? And Ed, so this is kind of complex. This is super complex, but this is also one of the most important scene of the fucking first episode. So he goes in, and he's pissed because his brother is leaving him, and his brother starts talking shit about his mom. So Ed gets angry, and he takes a stick and he hit him, right? And he kills his brother. Now, ultimately speaking, it was an accident, but he still killed his brother. Now, Ed tells his brother, stop joshing around, because again, this is a 1940, so the way they're talking is different. Stop joshing around, stop joshing around, stop joshing around, get up. And the craziest thing is he runs away because he's afraid, but then he says, no, I have to make sure that he's okay. So he goes back to the farm and he imagines, and this is kind of the insane part, he imagines that his brother is setting up and said, hey, you're right, I'm sorry, I'll talk to mom, right? Now, this will happen another time, but there's this other girl, which is the barmaid, right? And she offers Ed to see prostitutes, and then Ed is like, fuck that, I don't want to see prostitutes. What kind of Jezebel are you? Talking about his mom again. And then he imagined that she is surrounded by prostitutes, and that's why he kills her. And by killing her, he does the world a favor, because one less Jezebel in the town, right? But when you realize that you come back to nature, you see the nature, and the nature is yeah, we have to do ads because it's a mission, an event. So we're playing this. I can show you this. And we're playing this. We're also playing here, but who cares, right? So yeah, this shows that, and this is so complex because it's just schizophrenia. He's not imagining people. Imagine those are really real people that he's imagining. But at the same time, I don't know schizophrenic people, and I don't see them a lot on TV, so I don't have any idea of what it is. The only one that I saw was Colin Farrell and Beautiful Mind. and this guy was schizophrenic, right? A Beautiful Mind. Yeah, it's a great movie. That movie. There you go. I just finished. I just wasted your time and wasted mine. Great song, bro. Great song. Possibly sis, but I don't care. Got so much to do, bro. So much to do. And so little time to do. Oh, fuck. I need to check something. Yeah, this is what happened when we've been working for an hour and a half, by the way. I did the 1 hour, I did half an hour rant video. I did an half an hour video on Berserk. And we did half an hour video now. And what? 4.5 minutes. Okay, perfect. So we're back. We are back to this one. We are back, Lino. So his brother getting back. Ed is like a giant kid. Simple as that. It's like a giant kid. So there you go. Then we have the whole scene. This is kind of super nice because look, this is after his brother's dead, and you see him in clear as day. You see him clear as day. So this is kind of insane, right? I don't remember the scene. So there you go. So Ed is trying to, and this is kind of sweet because he's trying to break his brother. It's like, hey, what do you think about my brother? You know how he's been doing. He's been seeing this girl, and his mom right away she shuts him up. She's like, hey, your brother is a Ethan, or Ethan. I don't know how you say it. H-A. It's from the song 21 Pilots. All my friends are Ethan. Say it slow. Dun 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 dun. Has them how you know. You don't know. No 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 no. So there, is a Ethan. Ethan Ock. Is that his name? Because I just saw. I want to see the back film too. It seems really good. So yeah. So he's like, his mom's like, don't break my heart. Your brother's a douchebag. Your brother's an asshole. And please, whatever you do, don't break my heart. So this is kind of cool because you see, and the actor that plays Ed Gibb is. I hope he gets an Oscar for it because the fucking work that he done, amazing. I have never respected. Well, I didn't see Son of Anarchy, so I don't know how good he was as Jax. But this is great work, right? Oh, by the way, if you didn't know, there's somebody that you might know a little bit of a. I think her family name is Ray, and if she was to be called, I would be Addison. Addison Ray. Yeah, she's in there. She's in there. She has a fucked up leg, so no more dancing career, I guess. Little bit of a joke, right? I like Ed Gibb. Why am I calling him Ed Gibb? I don't know. So, but you see, his mom is talking to him, and she's basically like, she's super vile, venom, and then he's not crying, but he's tearing up, right? And this is insane because, you know, his brother's right. His brother was a good dude, and his mom's a piece of crap. Right, but then he goes the next day and realizes his brother is dead. So what he does is he hides on the farm and he burns the barn. It's because he burned the barn. He's blaming his brother, and his brother is deaf, and they will never say that he did it. Now this is also important in a couple of ways. So the problem with the Ed Gein is we don't know how smart he is or how dumb he is. We don't know how much he realized that's what's going on versus how much he doesn't realize. So by doing this, we can surmise that he feels like he's doing something wrong. He can surmise like he's afraid of the consequences, right? Which means he understands that what he did is wrong. Chose to do it once, chose to do it twice, and understand what he did is wrong. However, there's two things, right? The first kill is this one. The second kill, he does feel justified. You feel like she's a bad person. Because you feel like she's a bad person, then she's like, hey, now where I am is a third victim, right? And this is crazy because it's an older woman who's alone, and he's talking with her and he's having a date with her, and he's thinking about how good her skin will look as a furniture. Yeah, so it's kind of insane. I wish he had a fucking name like this, not the Jack the Ripper, but a name, you know. So that's what he tells the mom, and then the firefighter goes in. And this is so fucked up because the mom is crying, and she feels very sad. But at the same time, she didn't treat it like shit. And not even a couple minutes ago, we were seeing how bad she was talking about her son. So this is a case of that is gonna really gonna stress her out. And then what's gonna happen is she's gonna have a stroke. Now with the stroke, it's super well made because they're basically doing the exercise. My mom had a stroke. My mom, she had a stroke in real life. Thank God they found it early on, because with her it took some time, and half of her face is now like this, right? And she can't lift a arm, and now she needs a cane. My mom, she lost a feeling in one of her hand, and yeah, so that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. So there you go. So Ed, he's talking about his mom, and this is kind of crazy. This is kind of insane because the doctor says, "Hey, this is what she has to do. She has to get an aspirin a day, and he has to bath her, right?" So Ed will take one of the first things he does with her is he takes her naked and he baths her. Now, ultimately speaking, we know that Ed's kind of a pervert. Does he see his mom in a sexual manner or not? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if he sees it in a sexual manner or not. I don't know. And because I don't know what can I say, right? But he's cleaning his mom. Now, ultimately speaking, he would skin his mom. But it's kind of crazy because when he's killing his mom, she's already dead. He didn't kill her. Now, it's something that's fucked up, but he didn't kill her. His mom, he didn't kill her. So this is crazy because as he's washing her, he's imagining himself being the bitch of Auschwitz, and the bitch of Auschwitz, she skinned her victims. So now we're seeing a scene like that. Now, ultimately speaking, these scenes are special because these scenes are possibly just something that we saw. It's not explained what it is. So for example, right? So what it is Ed Gein is gonna be the monster, right? Then we're gonna have a second character that's important, which is Albert Hitchcock. And Albert Hitchcock will be like, okay, well, guess what? I not only saw the disgusting of it, but I made money out of it. I made a business out of it. And this is disgusting because I publicly showed what he did. Oops. Yeah. So you see her, and she's such a bitch. Now this is something I didn't know. You see the guy with the stripes? This is the Jews, right? Now, ultimately speaking, if you were to talk about historically correct, you would give him a armband, right? It's a show, and they were acting as servant. I didn't know that. So you see a bunch of German people. They have family. It's kind of crazy that you see that. If you go on Twitter, you don't really understand that this is something that is getting back popularity. So we see a bunch of these scenes. Now these scenes itself are weird because where did they come from? We show somebody that's what I think would be nice if they show her having deep-rooted issues. So for that Ed Gein is trying to reproduce what she was doing is a mental issue in itself. And that's pretty much it. So yeah. What's next? So the mom is screaming at Eddie. Now this is super cool. Okay, that's pretty much it. Why? Okay, I understand. So he's reading the comic. He's reading the comic of her. This is the bitch of Auschwitz, right? Because he's reading the comics of her. He's basically like, okay, yeah. He's imagining that's possible. So now his mom is screaming, and she is treating him like a piece of shit. She's talking about how they owe her money. And again, she's full of venom, this woman. She's full of venom. So she goes in and she screams and she screams and she's screaming. And then she falls because her heart stopped from this, right? Now, ultimately speaking, is it because he didn't give her a aspirin? And this is, look at this, beautiful. They bury her. Now, this will come in super important later on because he will dug the grave up, but it's also coming up. So the Adelaide, she's gonna be marrying him, right? And he's gonna tell her that, hey, she is dead. She is alive. So if she see the tomb, we'll know that this is not true. So there you go. So Ed goes in the house, and it's kind of crazy because he misses his mom right away. Now, ultimately speaking, I don't know why, because she was so mean to him, but he does miss her a lot. Pork and bean. Do. I think this scene is to show how normal his life is after he killed his mom. Well, he didn't kill her, but she's dead. So he goes in, he does what he's doing, and this is if it's the way, that would be super smart, because he takes the first scene of the show was him milking a cow, and then he just did that, and then because he cannot cook, he's eating beans. Now these beans will be coming up later because he's gonna marry her, and he's gonna have a job. He's gonna be losing that job and say, hey, I want to eat pork and beans, and here we see him eating pork and beans. So yeah, so this is pretty much this scene. Now he misses her a lot. This is kind of insane. This is kind of insane because he goes to her, right? He goes to her grave and he reads the Bible. And the next thing he does is he dug her up. Now I don't remember what he does with the body. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But this is so weird because this is not his mom. This is a completely different body. She digs her up. And I guess he makes her kind of pretty. Yeah, I don't remember this. My body blocked a lot of these scenes. My brain. Because it's pretty fucking disgusting. Again. Disgusting, creepy, yes. Horror? Not really. Not really. Okay. Oh yeah, this is insane. This is insane. So this is the first scene of the second episode. Toxic Secrets. So the second scene. So he's I don't know what he's doing right now, to be honest, because it's the middle of winter, and I think what he's doing is he's plowing the lawn, which I don't know why he's doing in the winter. And you see a bunch of people that are running away. Now, ultimately speaking, those people are said to be, and this is kind of insane. This is kind of insane, because it's said to be Jewish people because they have the stripes, right? Now, here's the crazy part. The crazy part is they'll run away. And he will hide, right? And he will do a nervous breakdown. He'll take a gun and say, hey, they know what I've done, they know what I've done, they know what I've done. And then this is really important because you hear his mom saying they're not here. And this is so fucking insane because you don't understand how bad it is until you take the time to realize it. His mom, who is dead, tells him that other dead people cannot be alive. So his mom, who doesn't exist, tells him that other people, hey, they're dead. Right? So yeah, so she tells him that, hey, they're dead, don't worry about it. This is kind of insane because he'll trust her. Now, ultimately speaking, I think that so it's super complex, right? Because again, I don't know much about it, I didn't finish it, so I can still make some theory. What I think happened is he had the body of the mom in the house, that way he could hear her voice, right? And by the way, when he hears her voice, she's still a fucking bitch. She's still super mean. So I think it's important to talk about.
There's nobody there. You did voice I don't regret.
So this is super important. So you got one of the okay, so basically give me a sec. Now I just realized something that I missed. This is something I missed. This is something that I missed, and this is quite important. It's a Psycho audiobook. I don't know if it's Robert Bloch. I don't want the abridged version, I want the whole thing. It's 1959, so that could be something. The Weird Tale. So there's an audiobook. So what I didn't realize is there's a book of that. So what I want to do, I want to download the book. Because American Psycho, which is great, but I don't know what I'm looking for. Psycho. Is that the whole thing or not? I know the book for Psycho 2. Ah. Okay, Johan Celeste. Robert Bloch, Psycho. There you go, we found it. On YouTube, by Starry Night Audio Libri. So this is going to be the important part, right? Audio Libri is audiobook in Italian, which means it's possible that it's in Italian.
Da diversi minuti, quando Mary se ne accorse e immise in azione il tergicristallo. Contemporaneamente accese i fari.
I'm a fucking genius. Don't you realize? I'm a fucking genius. Psycho complete audiobook. Psycho. And I love that I write Psycho and I find myself. I know it's Robert Bloch. Okay, so Robert Bloch. Robert Bloch. If I mess up your name, I'm sorry, Robert. You're possibly already dead. But hey, Psycho. I don't like the abridged version. Norman. Okay. Nice. It's good to know. But it's good to know. Oh my god. Atlantis. May you have no worry about the people on Earth. So now I'm going to be able to watch the book. So basically what happened here is there's this shrink, right? And this shrink, he wrote a book which is called Psycho. Psycho is one of the story of Ed Gein, right? And then he meets Albert Hitchcock. And then the first thing that they have, or we see, is the meaning of, should we make a movie out of the books? So, crazy story. I was born in the 90s, so this doesn't touch me. Nor here, nor here, nor here. But a lot of the books that we read were movies. So, for example, V for Vendetta, Fight Club, 1984, American Psycho, Clockwork Orange, Godfather, Chucky, Child Play 1, 2, and 3, the Freddy versus Jason, but the Freddy Krueger and the Jason Voorhees, and the Michael Myers. They're all audiobook because they're all audiobooks. Oh my god. Ouch. Still hurting. Because I can do that. I could do audiobooks, which would be great. How about we drink a little bit of a... I want to stop energy drinks though. I'm addicted. I got paid last week. The first thing I did, I bought energy drinks. Resist Temptation Inc. So yeah, so they're talking about that, and this is cool because his wife tells him, "Hey, nobody would want to see this, right?" My pain is paralyzing. But Alfred and him, they're trying to. So this is possibly Robert cultured self.
Excuse me before I say something I regret.
Why did I feel like Albert is wearing a fat suit? And a very poorly made one. A very poorly made one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How did I know? Because I'm a fucking genius. So, Albert Hitchcock is to blame also here. So Robert Hitchcock was a brilliant filmmaker, right? But he did some horror, and people are getting tired of the horror movie. Now, ultimately speaking, Albert Hitchcock is presented in this series as this disgusting man. I don't know him, so I don't want to slander. Even though he's dead, he can do shit to me legally speaking. But if he can, allegedly, it's gonna be put into every single sentences. So Albert is seen to be perving on with the actress. Albert is seen like sitting in the movie. They're literally showing Psycho, and in the movie Psycho, you're seeing people in the theater leaving, vomiting, and Albert is like, I like that. Maybe that my movie. So he seemed like a crazy person himself. But ultimately, what he's more guilty of is publicizing a serial killer. So they're talking about, and this is super nice. So you see, these are my favorite scene, right?
They have stared quite
Mind numbs.
at the sheer magnitude of the evil that was the Nazi Holocaust. See, for the first time in history, what human beings are capable of when the moral compass is off. Lost.
So see, this is kind of crazy because thanks to our research, we discovered that the book Psycho was written in 1959. So the second the Holocaust was ended in 45. So this was like 15 years after. There you go. You talk about there you go. This is so important. He's like Frankenstein and Dracula will not cut it anymore. Mr. Bloch. So the book is Mr. Bloch. So Albert Hitchcock already knows that the people want more. They want more, and he's running out of ID because they always have to overdo yourself. So right now, which is kind of crazy, is we're watching Scream, and with Scream, you always feel like you need to do more. Like for example, fucking Jason Voorhees. Jason Voorhees, the 10th one, he's in space. He's in space, so this doesn't make any sense. And you got the name of the guy, which is Bloch, which means what? Which means that Jason Voorhees audio. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna do the filter audiobook. A slasher, Liberian, yeah. Super cool. Oh my god! Holy shit! Holy shit! Look at this bad boy. Every unofficial Friday the 13th unabridged audiobook. There's 29 of them, and they're all more than 2 hours long. This is insane. This is insane. The 80 slasher book, super good dude too. We talked a little bit because I'm one of his first subscriber. Yeah, I was at work and I was wanting to watch The Shining, and then I wanted to watch Child Play, but not on TV, as an audiobook. And his channel was one of the first that he uploaded was Child Play. We listened to it. So then Albert is like, hey, they won't cut it anymore, so this is why we need Psycho, right? And this is super cool because he asked, why do you think he's like that? I mean, it's kind of crazy because Robert was the one that did it. It's kind of crazy. Those two people are insane, believing that this should be tell. So they're talking about him and what he was like. So basically, what they're talking about is how he had schizophrenia. I believe again that he has more. So back then, what you were talking about is the Indian and how they colonized. So they were basically teaching kids to be afraid of them and the way of torture. My father still telling me about the way of torturing. So for example, he said, if you keep on biting your nails, we'll put a match on them. That's what the Indian used to do. And he would talk to me about their torture. He would tell me about the abuse to put leather on your throat, wet them, and dry them up. So it's, scalping, right? This was something that was said. And there was card you could collect because, again, he's a kid, he wants to collect things, right? So the card you could collect are shrunken heads. And this is super cool. This is super cool. So it's like, okay, well, if every single kids were there, how come not every single kids are killer just like he was? It's like, okay, well, if you really want to talk about it, he was born in that, so he was possibly obsessed with it, and he started sexualizing them. So because he was schizophrenia, one of the symptoms of schizophrenia is trying to make things real, right? Trying to make things real to understand them. So because he saw something that he could understand, which was the killing and the torture and shit like that, what he wanted to do was possibly just to say, you know what? I'm going to be normalizing them. And as a young adult, he was accepted that trying to make a sexual fixation with that, right?
He would return the bones to the grave sometimes when it was done.
Yeah, talking about the bones. So what he wanted was the skin. Now, ultimately speaking, this is insane because in that meeting, there's one time where they talk about the Auschwitz bitch, and because they don't talk about her, it's a feeling that they don't know who she is, what he did. And this is super cool because he's talking about how he melted the body. Now, ultimately speaking, this is the old way, right? To talk about boric acid. So possibly somebody wanted to go and would take boric acid to burn skin. Now, you know what's insane? If you listen to the audiobook of Fight Club, you learn how to make a small explosive. If you watch the movie of Fight Club, you will not be able how. And it's Chuck something. It's Chuck Paul Chuck. Which great audiobook. Great. This time I'm mistaken. So an example is basically his mom. This is insane, bro. Like, tell me that this is not a disturbing scene.
He was stripping the flesh, the bones. How did he do it? Boric acid, probably. Some sort of vat.
Give me a sec, I won't be late. Look at it. Look at this. 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 Look. Listen. Just trust mom. Now this is fucked up, bro. This is fucked up to the higher degree. So basically, they're talking about. They're talking about, and this is also a good example. They talk about how she would teach him. So she was an outwitch bitch, right? And if you look at this is super insane because you see the lamp, right? And you see the lamp and it's being cleaned. But if you look at the lamp itself, there's a very important details. There you go. So you see, look how crazy this is. Look how crazy this is. If you look at the comics, she's basically making a lamp out of it. You see, she teaches them how to make a lamp.
Very normalized. And one of the ways to normalize it is to replicate it.
Yeah, so he was making lamps out of it. And what does his mom say? He ripped a part of it, right? And his mom, she's screaming at him, "You're working too fast."
You're working too fast.
There you go.
I'm sorry, Mother.
He's looking at the kitchen like she's there, but she's not there.
Yes, folks,
So it's steady. She never called him a sweet boy, by the way. And his reaction, Albert's reaction, is to smile. What I don't remember is I was sure I saw a scene that was important. We're gonna realize that is kind of crazy. There it is. There it is. There it is. Look at this thing, like lamp.
The lamp.
Yes. Look at this. Look at this. Wait. No, that's not it. So when you look at the lamp, it's gonna be super important. I want to show you because this is insane. There you go. There you go. We found it. So you see the lamp here. If you were to look at the lamp, you would see the number about right here, right? Now, Auschwitz, they would have the prisoner. They would give them numbers, right? And you learned that in X-Men, the first class. They would give them numbers. So what she did was she took the skin. Now, ultimately speaking, she took the skin from a Jewish person because, again, it was during the Second World War. And she took the skin with the numbers on it. So yeah. Insane. So now, what we're going to do is, I'm at 52 minutes. I want to do it like over an hour because of the TikTok. So we'll stop the video here. And we still have an hour and a half to do, so we're good.